Nah, because you try to tell them that, some of these dudes here were like scammers. Yeah, that are doing shell games inside the real estate space here myself that are going off to like somewhat scam the local groups over here. Yeah, to like wireless transfers, all that stuff like that myself. And eventually they were somewhat integrating fake money inside the system while then going off to like somewhat extract firmware, hardware, just straight up just like stealing it from like different companies and group, and then go off of the space here to like sell it as a dirty secret. That's a lot, right? By the time they were done over here, they were going around raping or kidnapping a whole bunch of runaways on the United States systematically, integrating them back into a cash system that was then connected to a war zone. Yeah, within multiple failed states. Yeah, around the space outside, where they go out and have child suicide bombers and ways to like program children to suffer the nightmare. That's way to like a real life horror or predator that they create systematically within a military channel. Yeah, that's both a military, a politician, yeah, and a supreme being behind the scene over here. That whatever it wanted over here, that's how you cannot tell it no specific on side, and eventually there'll be no sanity aside from the fact that it was based off of like an evolution. That's way to like sustaining a project or a system. That's the only place that we found sin, because it's like everything else was like insanity due to the fast pace of that system itself and the society itself was like. Yeah, so you have different ethnic groups and different goals and systems that exist all at once into it, right? So you have different type of individual, different type of mentality. And some of the individuals that they have is like too old school as a mindset itself, where they believe that rape. I was like, no, man. I said you don't mix up rape with that system itself. Yeah, so if you think that pistol whipping, yeah, we'll go off and get you inside of a course. Yeah, I said don't go ahead and like engage into that activity itself. I said, because you have to remember that ghost system that's with that camera system itself. Yeah, send a whole bunch of like after images after so many people on the space here. And the minute you get to see a system where that's way to like forming a hive, using a communication system that's way to like the phone to send out a signal on the space here, and then be able to like build a system that's way to like go off to like isolate and hunt individuals based on like sexual assault cases. That's no fun around the space outside. No bueno into morphing spaces outside. Right. Well, I don't know, man. Some people assume that I don't know. My generation, or other generation, wanted to go off and like somewhat force ourselves on people. Yeah, by violating the space here. As if I wanted an extra child. So somewhere they were looking for males that want to go off and have like extra children on the space here that are bigger than them. So somewhere me as a male over here, instead of chasing after my dream, I was supposed to go off and look for like a big child. Yeah, I was supposed to go off and look for a big child that you call a human being. That I go off and like terrorize inside a basement. Yeah, I keep track of 24/7 as if it's a dog over here. While I have it inside of a highly evolved society or system. Yeah, where like any sound that it makes specifically, so I can go off and get me life in prison. Yeah, and then eventually it has the ability to go off and stab me in my sleep over here. So yeah, my dude, I couldn't figure out how do some of these dudes over here and these kids will go off and like chase after that. Yeah, I was like, no, every time I got the controller in my hands, well, and then the money comes in, I go like, well, yeah, so it's like, why did they do all this over here? Yeah, for that stuff that I got in my hands over, that piece of paper, so they needed to continue a slave program. So I was like, no problem with that over here. So I just put out the software and the hardware, and then reach to the software and the hardware, and the website and the web page. They're gonna be like a Prometheus putting a piece of fire, into the civilization over here. So yeah, so we're gonna move forward into an eventual the system was over here. But I said the niche in the market that I'm hitting is like a local system and a team where I don't have to worry about rules and regulations, because the fact that the system that I'm hitting is in a raw format or like instruction. So it's just like a technique that I put on a piece of paper. I just decided to like go off and like have it on the local system. Yeah, as if I'm doing a yard sale on the space side, and the government can't even hold me accountable for nothing. Yeah, unless they say, I don't know, they wish this was like China or something like that. Yeah, I don't know where they get these people from. So these people are like, yeah, I go this way. So I say person with work that have too much work on their hands try to like isolate himself from society as if he was like the avatar. He needs to disappear and then go off and finish his ascension on the space side. And then people that have nothing going on for them, that are like lost in the sauce, will go off and waste their time to like drive around the person, and then usually go off with social media. Yeah, like high five each other as if they were doing a group work. To then go off and like do the community team stuff over there, to go off and like somewhat pat themselves on the back, as if like waking up in the morning and go off to like drive around a bike 24/7 to disrupt an entire neighborhood with people's kids in there. Was like the most fun thing ever that deserve a team to go off like high five each other, not like, you know, slap ass, and then eventually somewhat tell each other, give each other a feedback of work, like what you should have done better. Maybe next time you should bring I don't know, this aerosol over here from like this I don't know, this roach spray, to then go off and like somewhat mix it with crack inside the ventilation system of the hotel, and then go off and poison people's kids in the process. That's how. Yeah, so that's why I recorded. By the time I was done with recording this mess with him, I'm going like, yo, are you watching this stuff over here, myself? Yeah, and then by the time I was done with it, telling the lady downstairs that I like the hotel over here, myself. Yeah, that the paper over there says otherwise. She was reaching out for my phone. That's why I needed to see as a reaction to know that you're not in control of the entire affair. Like you came at me from a weak position, and then for odd reasons you still didn't stop what you were doing. Even though I told the referee to stop the match over there. It's gonna be a bloody match inside of a course that's gonna be one-sided, where you don't get no break from me, nothing like that. So by the time I give you the warning to go off and like look for another opponent, you still, to this day, you still continue what you were doing. Yeah, beyond anything you can imagine, thinking that you're still in the right while you're so much in the wrong. As I said again, the proof that you're so much in the wrong. Yeah, just remember that I was in Thailand or overseas outside the United States for like more than 4 years. And the entire time you spent an entire campaign out here to go off and disrupt my entire neighborhood, and then create a nuisance for them 24/7 for like the entire year. What's that? The entire year, the entire neighborhood was nosy. Well, like no child can go off and be put to sleep. Yeah, that was just a newborn, because of the fact that they go off and pay a group to go off and like somewhat coordinate as if they were like a machine system, like a conveyor belt system over there. And accurately and precisely time noise on the neighborhood that was so loud and disturbing that not even the dog around the area wanted to go off and fall asleep here. The dogs that are recording were literally leaving the area to go elsewhere, and then actually the parrots that I was recording were having a meltdown because the psychology was being breached, because some of my noise are noise sensitive around the space outside. So by the time I recorded the entire nightmarish event that was into my neighborhood over outside, the only thing that I got out of that was from a church over here that told me that they had multicultural friends, and that's how they wanted the church and stuff like that. So you know they're like I don't know, friendly to each other, and they have friends from like a different background, all that stuff. Like they have friends. That's I don't know, somewhere these people over there wanted to tell me that they had friends, while they go off and wake up the kid inside my neighborhood over here, what's up, and go off and poison him, making it hard for him to breathe, and eventually someone give him heart pain on the space. So not only did they give that child over here almost the ability to have a heart failure, yeah, they made it harder for the child to breathe, and then they wanted to give everybody inside the hotel dementia. Yeah, for a group of like psychos inside the United States that could not put handcuffs around me or go off and prosecute me inside of a car. So by the time I'm done over here, it's been 1 month since I've been in the US over here. No handcuffs, no police investigation, nothing. Yeah, the only thing that I got to like survive was just be able to tell a tale that's way to like being scarred by a government group. Yeah, that intentionally wanted to like poison children on the space. So just like I told you, inside the US over here and stuff like, yeah, the group will not go ahead and like poison their own kids more on the space, because we have a much better functioning set of fire codes, or like a better fire department, and a much more evolved and somewhat wealthier society or system, that are better machine system and sciences. Yeah, to then go off and like follow up on a complaint, or like gases or like chemicals that are odorless, that might be around the space area, that might go off and like someone cause a disturbance around the space. Yeah, so some have teams or like special forensic experts. Yeah, that go off and like someone create a hazard, an emergency around the space area to be able to evacuate the building, to then go off and investigate whether or not somebody is releasing toxic chemicals around the space to go off and harm children. Yeah, so because of the fact that the system over here working for me, apparently, as you can see, even the Americans themselves don't want to poison their own kids. But when I'm overseas over here in a space like Thailand, because of the fact that I'm with a different race over here, with a different group, that's born inside of a caste system. As you can see, the police inside America that work with that foreign police group didn't care whether or not they were poisoning or making children go to like extreme phases of being uncomfortable, by intentionally making it harder for them to breathe, and then eventually giving them heart murmurs, and then somewhat create noise pollution, on the extreme level, 24/7 around them. So by the time I'm done over here, I'm like surviving Thailand. Yeah, I'm back inside the US where the main culprit was at. As you can see, no noise pollution here, because of the fact that the police themselves are not like the Thai police over here, or like the Asian police that want to tell their own people go fuck themselves on behalf of the American government or the police units that wanted to go off and launch the harassment campaign against me while I'm living in a new nation. Right, so here I am today in America. Here's the paradox. That's how, the Thai police officer, or the Asian one, did everything in his own power over there, including defiling his own people and disrespecting children that are not even his, that belong to somebody else. I made them so uncomfortable around me, specifically with that noise pollution campaign that they had. Yeah, with like the ability to like somewhat disrupt the entire space with the ear, all that stuff like that. They did all of that specifically. Yeah, just so I could be in America over there with no handcuffs around me, nothing, nada. So here I am today. Yeah, in the US. With my American passport. Going like, what is your name on your badge number? All right, ChatGPT, write me a letter. This is the team right here. Yeah, connect this link. Yeah, give me the link over here. Yeah, copy and paste, revise. Yeah, follow the syntax, adjust. Yep, insert the link, the complaint. Yep, and send it directly to the police department. Yeah, and actually someone submit that to a small claims complaint over here on top. Go ahead and use the credit card to pay the $40 processing fee or the $60 processing fee for this small claim complaint over here on top. Yeah, it's gonna be a police officer damaging the property of the individual with like obsessive force over here. Right. So with the obsessive force over there that you use on top. Yeah, we're gonna use that as like no, because I said I have to make it down to the police station and go off and report the damaged property. No, because I recorded it. Just recording it is good enough. But at the same time, they're gonna be like, "How long did that take you?" I'll be like, "Why should I get off my bed over here?" Yeah, and then go off and like proceed to do things so quickly on the space aside. Right. Well, here's the video. That's all you need to go off on August have a course. Was that obsessive? Was that too much force? Excessive force? What's that? Not obsessive, but it does seem obsessive. Was that obsessive force? Yeah, the force was obsessed. There was no need to go off and pick up the person's property. That you yourself over here took the person's property off his back. Yeah, off the sidewalk. You took the person off the sidewalk. And you intentionally brought him in the streets over here. When you put his stuff, yeah, when he has his hands handcuffed behind his back, you take all this stuff and you put it on top of your car over here. And by the time you're done over here, the person is like, I don't know, doing stuff in a timely fashion. You go off and you pick up the person's stuff and you throw it on the trash across the space outside. So you took the liberty to help yourself go off and damage the person's property on camera while he's allowed to record it on the space. So yeah, go ahead and send that over as a complaint, and then we force the small claim space over here and go off and get reimbursed by the feds. Yeah, let's have a small claim court over here where we let the jury and the judge go off and decide based off the video evidence who's at fault for the damaged property and the complaint.